you don't need to have seen the movie to listen to this episode. We're going to try to be as not spoily as possible. Hello, grandparents, Satanists, ghosts, and demons.
Welcome to another spur-of-the-moment minisode.
Today, we are talking about the 2020 film, Anything for Jackson. This movie came as a really nice surprise, and we thought we would give our thoughts on it.
Definitely way better than we would have guessed for
Not ever hearing
never
a single
hearing
thing
of
about
it, and for just being like, it's new on Shudder.
Yeah, like I never saw a trailer for it. It was just kind of a, yep, I don't know, let's watch it.
Trigger warnings for this movie, there is definitely a lot of disturbing imagery, and the plot of the story follows a pregnant woman who gets kidnapped, and this also is a part of the synopsis. They basically, her kidnappers want to, possess her unborn baby with their dead grandson. So yep. I don't know exactly what trigger warnings are appropriate, but you know, if pregnancy and that type of stuff makes you uncomfortable, that is the premise.
Intense gore and violence, self-harm, suicide, mention of suicide, and kidnapping. Brief synopsis, though, is a bereaved Satanist couple kidnap a pregnant woman so they can use an ancient spell book to put their dead grandson's spirit into her unborn child, but they end up summoning more than they bargained for.
This movie was directed by Justin G. Is it?
It's definitely Dick.
Dick or Dyke? Like either way. It's D-Y-C-K, so I'm guessing it's Dick. So Justin G. Dick, who's really known for his Christmas movies, which include Christmas with a Prince, Art of Falling in Love, Christmas in Paris, Christmas Catch, and A Christmas Village.
He makes a bunch of Christmas movies and Lifetime,
like Hallmark
love movies. It's very strange, and a lot of people that worked on this movie also worked with him on those movies. I guess it's, I don't know. This must be like what he really likes or wanted to do.
Just wanted to go for something different? Who knows?
It was really good. This movie stars Sheila McCarthy as Mrs. Walsh. I kind of figured she was like the most popular and biggest person in this movie. She is known for her roles in The Day After Tomorrow. I don't know why I messed up on tomorrow.
It's okay.
She's known for her roles in The Day After Tomorrow and much more recently, Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, she's great in Umbrella Academy. If any of you have watched that show, she plays the like diner owner that falls in love with Ed Kemper.
What? He has a name.
I don't remember what his name is.
The guy who plays Ed Kemper in
Mindhunter.
Yeah.
Julian.
But yeah, she's Mrs. Walsh, if I didn't say that. Julian Richings plays Mr. Walsh. And the Walshes are the older couple.
The kidnappers.
The grandparents. Julian Richings, as Mr. Walsh, he is known for his roles in Urban Legend, Channel Zero, and Orphan Black. He's no stranger to horror movies. Yeah,
and he's a really good actor. I thought he was really perfect for this part, and he's super tall and like lanky and like very angular. He's a very interesting actor, I thought, for sure.
Yeah. Constantina Montelos plays Shannon, and Josh Crudis plays Ian. They are, I don't want to say relatively unknown, but they don't have as many large headlining credits. And the guy who plays Rory, like, his name sounds very familiar, and I know he's a fairly famous person, Yannick Bison. And yeah, he plays a small role of Rory, but I know he's more of like a famous person.
I have no idea who he is.
Because I recognized him.
Is he the snow shoveler guy?
Yes.
Huh.
And the movie was written by Keith Cooper.
One of our other favorite horror actors is also in this for a small part, and that is Troy James, who in this movie he's credited as like the suffocating man, but he is that amazing actor that is extremely flexible.
He's a contortionist.
Yeah, and he's had a small part in a lot of different horror movies, but he's someone that as soon as he's on screen, no matter what his makeup is, you can tell that it's him, because you can tell it's really someone doing that to their body.
Yeah, my favorite performance of his is when he's Pretzel Jack.
Yeah, in Channel Zero. He's really cool.
Disturbing. The purpose of this minisode, I just want to say right off the back, is like we're not going to go scene by scene. We're going to talk about a couple of our favorites, but yeah, we're not doing like a synopsis. And this movie just came out, so there's not like a ton of behind the scenes. One thing we did find, though, was the house used for the bulk of the movie is actually writer Keith Cooper's. This was used for the bulk of the movie. However, for the bedrooms and the basement, they were filmed at the director's house. So, you know, they do that in a lot of movies, but it's like a mishmash of the writer and director's houses, which I thought was kind of cool.
Did we find the budget for this?
The only thing I could find for budget is that it was somewhere in the ballpark of $250,000.
That's really cheap.
Which is very low, but I could not confirm that.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I could find.
I was just curious.
This movie has pretty high reviews from what I could find as well. And a lot of people are calling this the Hereditary of 2020.
I don't hate that. It's a shocking movie. Like, it really, yeah, it caught my attention from beginning to end. And it follows, like, some regular horror movie tropes, but nothing that, like, you know, wasn't good to see in this movie, for sure.
I think it's also along the lines, it's like, it's not a typical Hollywood movie. Like, it doesn't spoon feed you the story, and it doesn't start at the beginning.
Oh, one of my favorite parts, though. So, like we mentioned, the premise is, like, they kidnap this pregnant woman, but the grandfather in this, Mr. Walsh, he is this pregnant woman's doctor. And when they kidnap her and they have her in the room, it flashes back to when she was seeing him, like, being pregnant and setting up doctor's appointments. And you know how when you go to the doctor, they take your picture sometimes for their records, and they had framed that and put it in a number one mom frame in like her jail cell that they had her confined to. And it was so creepy. That whole scene was so brilliant and well done and shocking.
Yeah, so as I said, it doesn't, like, you don't see anything happen to the grandson. They don't really explain the entire story, which they didn't need to. And, like, the demons and stuff are kind of, for the most part, unnamed, and it's just creepy and without being, you know, spoon-fed the story, which I liked.
Yeah, and it reminded me a little bit of, like, It Follows.
Yeah.
As far as, like, the creatures, monsters, whatever, because it was just kind of like, these are monsters that are attracted to this, like, gateway that you opened, but they don't necessarily have to do with any, like, personal parts of the story, which is fine.
Yeah, the creatures in this are some of the coolest. I love giant sheet ghost.
Yes.
There's like a
15 feet tall.
I'd say like a 10-foot tall sheet ghost.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then you have this, at one part, a demon. I'm trying to be as not spoily as possible, because you should definitely watch this if you haven't. Yeah, so a demon crawls out of somebody, like breaks their way out of somebody.
It's a very cool effect. Yeah.
And that demon that comes out is crazy looking.
And one of the other parts that, like, always scares me in horror movies, it's like the whole idea of the repetition of things. Like, a lot of the demons repeat the same motion, the same trauma over and over again, and that's always just like a spooky element where it's like you just can't stop seeing it because it's just on a loop.
One of my other favorite parts of this movie is that there's a lot of ritual in it, and it doesn't explain they don't like explain the ritual as they're doing it, but you get to see a large portion of it. And a cool thing they did was a lot of practical effects in this movie.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of times gets missed from your like summoning demon movies is like you don't get to see them like chanting and lighting candles, and like they made sure to go all out on those scenes for this, which was really nice.
Yeah, there's even like an extended scene where they're placing dead mice around the house.
Because I say that a lot when we watch stuff. I'm like, why aren't they showing the magic? Where's the magic?
But they really show it in this.
They don't just allude to it.
And they, as we mentioned before, they have this spell book, and it's like this really old, like cobbled together book that's like hundreds of years old, and it has like cool imagery, and some pages have different languages than others. They did a lot of really cool stuff for this. I would say where I disagree with people saying it's the Hereditary of 2020, though, is that they did put some comedic elements in it.
Yeah, there's one character that's definitely like the comedic relief for sure.
They're part of this like Satanist group, but I would say half of the people in this group are just doing it to say they're doing it.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of nerds that like meet at the community center or the library.
Yeah, it's literally like they meet at a table in the community center, and they're just like black.
And they take themselves far too seriously. Yeah, it's a good movie for sure. For us, we definitely give this movie like a 4 out of 5 skull Shudder rating. There's not much that I didn't like about it, honestly.
I don't think there was anything I didn't like. And it was like a lower, quote unquote, lower budget movie. And I just like, it was a nice surprise. The story was good. The acting was good. I don't think there was anything bad about it.
Because sometimes we pick things on Shudder that are stinkers.
Don't watch Run on Hulu.
We've had a couple bad movies recently, so this is a good thing that we saw this one.
Yeah, we needed it.
Yep. And so it's on Shudder. Yeah, watch it. It's cool. Let us know what you think.
Definitely recommend it. Cool practical effects, good writing, good all around movie.